Before you ask if it's done, it is.
Today, we're going to check out a conversation between two absolute titans of the Smallville universe, at least. Also, generally, two of my favorite actors and really great guys in general. Alan Ritchson, aka Aquaman on Smallville, was on Michael Rosenbaum's podcast, aka Lex Luthor, Inside of You. So let's talk about it. And no, this video is not going to be about Smallville itself, but I set this up to explain that these are two men that have a very solid knowledge of the inside track in the world of Hollywood. Alan himself, being a devoted Christian who turned A-list actor, talks about the dark side of the acting world.
Nobody ever tells you that, like, when you get to the top, there's nothing there. There's nothing there. There's just more of that. If you want it, you know, I had ground and scraped and fought to make movies and to make the things that I wanted to make and to sell books and sell scripts, and I was doing all those things. And then I get there and I'm like a broken shell of myself with this relationship that threatened to sort of like truly like wreck my life, and I had done nothing to deserve that. And you know, I'm like, what is life? Like, what, you know, I'm so backwards.
Right, you thought everything that was going to make you happy didn't.
Yes.
Everything you wanted to do, you were doing, but you still weren't happy.
Here, Alan is talking about a bad business relationship that was happening at the time and just how he was being treated and used like a literal product. Now, don't get me wrong, actors are in some sense their own product, but that of course does not mean that they should not be treated as a living, breathing human being. What we get into next is far more tragic.
You know, but I'm a victim. I'm a product, I should say, of these systems that we all survive in, which is, you know, this sort of capitalist-driven, corporatocracy kind of driven way of merchandising and commercializing every thought and fear and moment that we have in our lives, and never giving us a chance to slow down. And you know, when I was able to, I was on my way out, and I saw my kids, and I saw them grown up, and
you really saw that?
Yes, I did. And I saw them asking me, just like a mature grown adult would say, you know, say something very calmly without emotion, like, please don't do this.
Even further detail into how these systems put in place could use some sort of update. I could not imagine the pressure on someone like his shoulders. But this is really where it gets tragic, as he talks about his children growing up in a vision that he had and truly saw them disappointed with the decisions that he was making. This is very dark and gets even more so as we continue.
It was such a startling image that, you know, them saying, we need you, that I climbed up out of that. I pulled myself up and I got out of that. And
was it hard to get out of that?
I mean, thank God I work out, because I mean, if I didn't,
you wouldn't have the strength to get out.
do it, you know. But I did.
Here he's discussing this allegorically, and I do have to say it's very brave of him to go against the system just for his own pride. Keep in mind that when he's talking about working out here, what I have gleaned from this is that it helped him with his mental health to get out of the funk that he was in, and I completely understand that. Personally, I think even a light bit of exercise is really great for your mental health, and it gets the blood flowing and the brain pumping.
And you know, so I got up there, and
did you just get hysterical after that?
Yeah.
Just like kind of lost your mind for a second?
Yeah, like, this is where I am? What is wrong? And this is after a good year. This is after making tons of money. This is after accomplishing all the goals. How can that be?
This is great, because here we see an A-list millionaire admitting that reaching every goal and accolade that you set for yourself in your own brain still does not bring self-respect or happiness. I think most of us could be accused of seeing life in these terms, and that there are these people at the very top who have everything, including all the happiness, and then there's us at the bottom who are just normal everyday people trying to struggle to get by. Of course, it definitely helps things to be a millionaire, do not get me wrong, but I would love to have more money. However, your own happiness is not necessarily success-based. A lesson I think we could all learn from.
Like, that's not something we talk about. That there's nothing there at the top. That, you know, that life isn't about, you know, Jim Carrey said it before, you know, I hope everybody gets what they want and gets the riches that their hearts desire, so they realize that that's not what life is all about. That's not what will make you happy. You know, some people have discovered that truth, and So you talk about what inspired me to start talking about something more meaningful on my channel. And it was this realization when I came out of that. I called a doctor that I'd never talked to. I know a shrink in LA who seemed to be able to help people like this, it was advertising that kind of thing. And I said, I need help immediately.
And yet another amazing life lesson that no matter who you are or how masculine and strong you want to act, we all need help, and there's no shame in asking for it. I think this is actually a problem with many men not wanting to go receive help, and if Reacher can do it, you can do so as well, my friend.
Like this hour, because I don't know what's going to happen, right? I'm out of my mind. And he sees me. And, it was the first time I ever heard the word bipolar and my name in the same sentence. He goes, we took some tests together, and he goes, okay, you're bipolar 1, and a little bipolar 2, And I was like, sorry for cussing. A lot of, I try.
Swear.
I know a lot of young people, but, you follow me because of the stuff that I talk about on my channel, but I was so pissed. I was like, you, man. And I'm still a little, I'm a you, man. I'm not. And he was like, okay. He's probably done this 1,000 times with people.
Right.
It's very commendable. He talks about this in public. Being bipolar can be extremely problematic, but realistically, many people you interact with have bipolar, and you just don't know it. I appreciate that he talks about these kind of struggles, though, because, again, great lessons for all of us to learn from.
But I almost thought you'd feel like a relief.
No, man.
You know what it is.
You want to put me in a box? You want to put me in a little category, especially a category of basket cases? You, man, I'm healthy.
That was your initial thought, right?
Yes, dude. I resisted.
There are plenty of treatments for being bipolar, and I commend the doctor for understanding how to handle this. I'm sure he deals with it all the time, like Alan said, and I can't even blame him for acting like this. It seems really scary. Having a label like that put on you, it just makes you feel like you're being put in some sort of categorical box, but at the end of the day, the doctor is only interested in his health as an overall human being, and any actually good doctor like this one clearly does care more about helping you than they do about making you happy in the short term.
And then he goes, I think there's medication. And I'm like, you, man, I'm out. And I left. And I go down to the parking garage, and I'm sweating and pissed. And I know he's right. I know he's right. And I go back, and I'm like, I'm having a hard time dealing with this, but let's talk about what you know of this.
This is all of the stages of grief wrapped into one very quick interaction. Again, really cool to see someone like this A-list actor humble himself and make sure other people understand that there's no success in life that will make you happy forever. It's something that needs to be worked out every day. It's absolutely possible, no matter who you are.